न शान्तं स्तौति निष्कामः न दुष्टमपि निन्दति समदुःखसुखस्तृप्तः किञ्चित् कृत्यं न पश्यति. We generally, the understanding of the truth need not be interpreted in the sense of attitudes, please. When we say a jnani does not praise the peace, supposing in a prosperity is praised. Why? Because it's difficult to come by. It can go. What can go, and if it is there, you praise it. Mental peace, which can be lost, and if it is there, you can praise it. The fire can't praise its own being hot because it can't go. That nature can't change. Similarly, a jnani doesn't praise the peace, fullness, because it's not something that can go and come. That is his nature. That should be the meaning. Therefore, it's not an attitude. A jnani, if he doesn't praise the peace, it's not his attitude, it is his understanding that peace is his nature. It's not his attitude. Attitudes are subjective. And the subjective attitudes can change. And human beings generally think only in terms of attitudes. That is why most of the people, even in the context of Vedanta, most of the people think that Vedanta teaches you the right attitude. Aisa kuch nahi. It does not, the moment you enter, the moment you take Vedanta as talking about attitudes, it's gone. When you understand that the fire is hot, it's not your attitude, it is your knowledge. Thus, there is a difference between attitude and understanding. Attitude is Purusha Tantra. Purusha Tantra means it is within your hands, it's by choice. It's by your swabhava, depending upon your traits. If you look upon Ganga as Devata, it is an attitude. And you can change that attitude also. And situations can bring about change in your attitude. Even though you want to have the attitude, but the situations can change the attitude. Therefore, when a jnani does not praise peace, na shantam stauti nishkamaha, na duštamapi nindati, nor does he run down dukkham. Not running down dukkham, not detesting dukkham, is not an attitude. Not praising Shanti is not an attitude. If he likes something and doesn't like something also, it's not an attitude. A jnani's likes and dislikes are not likes and dislikes. They have to be understood as just only understanding of the truth. In fact, he doesn't have subjective likes. His life is guided by his understanding of the truth. Like in the case of a layman, his choice guides him. His impulses guide him. Like in the case of an animal, its instincts guide it. Its hunger and thirst guide it. Its impulses guide the animals. Their instincts guide them. We say they don't have a great choice. Okay, choice doesn't guide them. Instincts guide them. Impulses guide them. In the case of a layman, his choice guides them. His impulses guide them. A layman is guided by his own choice, his own impulses, his own instincts. These are all various words. These impulses guide. Instincts guide. Choice guides. Likes and dislikes guide a person. But in the case of a Vedanti, he is guided by his own understanding of the truth. If he has patience, it is drawn from the perception of the truth. Patience is not some kind of attitude in his case. Yes, he has patience derived from, it is nothing, it is synonymous with understanding the truth. If he doesn't harm anybody, it can be understood as understanding of the truth. Therefore, na shantam stauti. And I can also explain it this way. He is nishkama. He doesn't crave for peace. You crave for peace only when you think it is away from you. You crave for peace if you think it is away from you. When you know the peace, shanti is one's nature, absolute shanti, not a relative peace. Relative peace implies the memory of the prior dukkha. Anything relative implies memory of its own absence before. If you are relatively rich, it involves the memory of the prior poverty. But he understands absolute serenity is its nature. Let that be the reflection. It's not that really one has to prove to the world that he has understood, but he has to think correctly. Even if a person has not understood, so what? If I am thinking correctly, I would understand. And what is the right thinking? That you can't crave for what you are. What you are is a matter for understanding. Therefore, truth is not a matter for desire. Truth, it is avyavaharyam. You can't have an emotion for it. You can only understand it. That all emotions for it are redundant. All thinking about it is redundant. All imagining about it is redundant. All meditation about it is redundant. It is one's own being. In this manner, he understands. And therefore he doesn't praise the peace. He doesn't run down dukkham, because peace is his nature. And what about dukkham? Dukkham is an error. And an error is non-existent from the point of view of the truth. The error is not there in the light of the truth. When I don't see the truth, I think I see the error. When I see the truth, then there is no error. Take this sentence. When I understand when I don't see the rope, I see the snake and I have to live with that snake. It is my own thinking, but looking like a fact. Therefore, if my own thinking can look like a fact, that means all that looks like a fact is only thinking. Therefore, na shantam stauti nishkamaha. He is free from the craving for peace. And he doesn't run down dukkham. He understands peace is the nature and dukkham is the error. Sama dukkha sukha. Sukham and dukkham. What is the relation between the sukham and dukkham? We think both are really thoughts. It's not true. If sukham and dukkham is, both of them are thoughts, then what about anandam, that is atmanandam? Sukham is truth. Dukkham is adhyasa. They are not dvandvas. If you look upon the sukham as a vritti also, that is how man thinks that it is a vritti. But otherwise it is not a vritti, it is being. Sukham is the vastu, dukkham is the adhyasa. And therefore, a person who understands sukham is the tattvam and dukkham as an error is not other than the tattvam. It is the samam brahma. Sukham is Brahman, sukham is swarupam, dukkham also is non-separate from swarupam. There is a difference. To be swarupam and to be non-separate from swarupam. There are two phrases. You have to be very careful about it. To be rope is its swarupam. That snakeness is non-separate from ropeness. Waterness is its swarupam, whereas waveness is non-separate from the swarupam. It is not swarupam. It is not other than the swarupam. It is ananya. Matter is not consciousness, but it is not other than, but it is made of consciousness. Therefore, it is not other than consciousness. Our swarupa is consciousness. And what about the body? It is ananya with the consciousness. What about the thoughts? They are ananya with the consciousness. So, to be the swarupam and the what is non-separate from swarupam, ananyatvam, isko samajhna chahiye. The wave is, all the waves are non-separate from water, therefore there is only water in the ocean. To be water is the swarupam. And what is the explanation for waveness? That form. It is non-separate from non-separate. Non-separate, there is only one thing, only the error is non-separate from the fact. Creation is non-separate from the source, you can say. No other situation there is ananyatvam. In no other situation. You try, you come up with an example to me. It's not possible. Only an appearance is ananya with the reality. Only an error is ananya with the fact. Only the creation is ananya with the source. The principle is, the error is ananya with the fact. Mithya is ananya with the satyam. In which other context can you find this ananyatvam? You can't say an adjective is ananya with the noun. It is not ananya with, because there is no noun. There are only qualities, and sansarga is different. You can't say the son is ananya with the father. Aisa to nahi hai. They are two different things. Nowhere it is ananyatvam. Ananyatvam is there only between satyam and mithya. Think about it very deeply. What I think the Shruti is saying, everything is one with God, means what? It is one with God. What is that one withness? We just use the term one with. What is that one with? Ananyatvam means what? Only my wrong thinking, what I think it is a snake, it happens to be the rope. So my idea that it is snake is ananya with the rope. The snake is non-separate from, in fact it is the rope. Therefore ananyatvam establishes one is mithya, the other is satyam. Ananyatvam is not between wave and wave. Ananyatvam is not between wave and wave. Oneness is not between wave and wave. Oneness is between the wave and water. That is called ananyatvam. Therefore, sukham is the truth. Dukkham is ananya with the sukham. My God, dukkham is ananya with the sukham ji. Dukkham is ananya with the sukham. Dukkham is not sukham. Dukkham is ananya with the sukham. Sansara is ananya with the moksha. Moksha is the swarupam of man. Moksha is the swarupa of man. Whereas sansara is ananya with it. It is not a parallel opposite. There is no opposite to the truth. There is nothing parallel to the truth. The sound is not opposed to silence. It is made of silence. The snake is not opposed to the rope. It is an error about the rope. How do we understand these phrases? You say it is not opposed to the rope. You also say it is made of the rope. But the rope and snake are there viruddhas, opposed. Yes, they are unlike each other. They are not two opposite facts. Rope and snake are not two opposite facts. Thus, truth has no viruddham. There is no enemy. Because everything is made of the truth. Therefore, sukham is the truth. Dukkham is ananya with the sukham. And when the sukham is understood as one's swarupa, the idea that dukkham is a fact gets corrected. Therefore, a jnani understands sukham is swarupam and dukkham is ananya with that swarupam. It is an error. You can't negate the error by thinking it is opposed to the fact. You correct the error only by thinking that it is an error made of the fact. That is called karya karana bhava. Jagat is made of Ishvara. Jagat is a perception in Ishvara. Like snake perception is made of the rope. Mirage is made of the sand. It's not something an opposite fact. It's not like, like and dislike. They are opposites. Two opposites are called dvandvas in life. Two opposites are called dvandvas. Like is not made of dislike, nor dislike is made of like. There are two opposites. But sound and silence are not two opposites. Fundamentally speaking, that is what layman thinks. In Vyavahara, man thinks that sound and silence are opposed to each other. Sanai. Fundamentally, spiritually talking, sound is made of silence. Why? Silence is not absence of sound. Silence is to the being. The one who is silence. And therefore, between the silence and the sound, there is no opposition. There is a truth and error relation. Swamiji, can't we say truth and error relationship is opposition? ये क्या बात है? Truth and error relationship is opposition. No. Opposition means there are two opposite separate facts. Like a lamb and a wolf. There are two opposite facts. A wolf gobbles up the lamb. There is opposition. The herbivores and the carnivores are opposed. Sometimes the elephants trample on a carnivorous kids, like the cubs of a lion are killed. And sometimes the lion kills the elephants. That is called opposition. Opposites. There are two opposite physical facts. But fundamentally speaking, there is no opposition. Everything is made of the truth. Everything is made of. And when we are studying Vedanta, we are not looking at things empirically, we are looking at things fundamentally. That is called Vedanta Adhyayanam. Vedanta Adhyayanam is looking at things fundamentally. And if you look at things fundamentally, then there is no opposition between your existence and the universe. Your existence is the Satyam and the universe is the Mithya. And the Mithya is non-separate from the Satyam. There is Advaitam. In that sense, Samadukha Sukha, Tripta. By nature he is satisfaction. He just can't be otherwise. Now one may think, when we describe a jnani as triptaha, it is the nature of the truth. He was notionally atriptaha. In knowledge he discovers that he is triptaha, tripti. Kinchit krityam na pashyati. He doesn't see anything to be done in life. There is nothing to be done. There is nothing to be learnt. There is nothing to be known. There is nothing to be achieved. Even there is nothing to be known, ji. Because by knowing yourself, you have known everything. Why? Because everything is made of that one thing. That is why the Vedanta says, sir, it would be illogical. The Shvetaketu asks a question, Bhagavan, his father, Uddalaka, Bhagavan, how come by knowing one you come to know everything? Ena shrutam shrutam bhavati, amatam matam bhavati, avijñātam vijñātam bhavati. You say, all that is by hearing which you have heard everything, by reflecting on which you have reflected on everything, by understanding which you have understood everything, he says. Shvetaketu says, how is that possible? Then he gives the example. See, very, very deeply think. After that question, the father gives the example. That is, by knowing one clay, you know all the pots. By knowing one gold, you come to know all the ornaments. By knowing one metal, you come to know all the instruments. What does it mean? That means there are not many. There are many, they are all made of one. What do you mean by made of one? They are all perceptions about that one. Because they are all perceptions about that one, the Shruti uses the language that they are all made of one. What they are made of one? It's made of one. Wave also is my perception. But I call it a creation. Because I see it as a wave. I call it a wave. But what it is water. It's notional. I see it as a snake. I call it a snake. Otherwise it is rope. I see it a pot. I call it a pot. Otherwise it is clay. Therefore, every perception like this is notional. This notional perception is described by the Shruti as Maya Srishti creation. What is wrong in that? Maya Srishti means that the fact doesn't undergo any, the source doesn't undergo any change. Thoda sa dosha hai, but it is a very insignificant dosha. You are calling the perception as creation. Why do you want to call it creation? That is because man can't, it is not easy for an ordinary individual to appreciate that the whole universe is his perception. And even if you say it is a perception, please understand, he will think it is an individual's perception. About what? He thinks it is a perception of what is not there. Even an intelligent man will misunderstand that I am only seeing a universe that is not there, which would be wrong. Perception must be understood as erroneous perception. He should be told that you are perceiving the absolute, the unlimited, as the limited and the universe. That means it is the unlimited that looks as the Jiva and Brahma. And for which you have to take into account the Avastatraya Prakriya. Sushupti must be understood as your non-dual presence. And Jagrat should be understood not as parallel to the Sushupti, but it is an appearance in the Sushupti. It means only the creation. That is a perception. I perceive the world in the truth. I perceive my embodiment within the truth. Therefore, a jnani doesn't see anything even to be known. By knowing the source, you come to know everything. Because everything is not parallel to your being. Things are not parallel. Things are not opposed. Things are only unlike you, and they are adhyas about you. They are a misconception. They are perceptions within it. Dream is not something that is an opposed to the dreamer. The seen dream is not opposed to our being. It is a perception in our being. Therefore, if everything is a perception in our being, then there is nothing opposed. If there is nothing opposed, then there is no isolation for our being. Please understand. Therefore, death is not isolation. Very fundamentally thinking, death is not isolation. These are the things to be understood. Because you can't have, the water cannot get isolated from any wave. Water as water is complete. Therefore, if a person is in Sushupti, just listen to this, and he stays as unlimited presence, and if you say there is a waking world, that waking world is not parallel to that Sushupti. It is seen within that. The wave is seen within the water. And if the wave subsides, it is placid water. You think that water gets isolated from the waves. No, all waves are perceived within that placid waters. Thus, for the being, there is no isolation. There is no introduction. There is no introduction to the forms. There is no isolation from the forms for the being. The forms appear in the being and become unmanifest in the being. As an individual, if I feel I get isolated in death, that yes, that sense of individuality becomes unmanifest. Whereas the unlimitedness of the being doesn't get. Even if the world continues, let us say, after that, a person goes to die, a person dies and the others are living. But they are all really, all that the entire creation is seen within that unlimited being. It is comprehensive of everything. Therefore, truth has no isolation from the forms. The forms appear in the truth, disappear in the truth, become manifest in the truth, become unmanifest in the truth. And for that truth, there is no isolation. If there is no sense of isolation, therefore the fear also is an error. Therefore, a jnani doesn't think he has to accomplish something. There is nothing to know, there is nothing to accomplish, there is nothing to think, there is nothing to do. Na kinchit krityam asti. There is no, a jnani sees nothing to be done. Because a wave doesn't have to do anything to be water, please. A wave doesn't have to do anything to be water. It doesn't have to collect any information. It doesn't have to study further. It doesn't have to do something, achieve something, make wars, etc. These are all Bhranti. The wave doesn't have to do anything to be water. Clear, please? It is already water. It has to look at itself. I say this phrase so many times because that's all that is necessary. You have to look at your existence. Next Ji. Dhiro nadveshti sansaram Atmanam na didrikshati Harsha marsha vinirmuktaham Namrito nacha jivati. I am interpreting these verses as in the sense of a jnani, which is synonymous with the nature of the truth. Yes, then there is no problem. I am not interpreting any verse in the sense of any attitudes. As long as you understand that what is taught by Vedanta is not attitude, you are a brilliant person. It's not an attitude, please. Attitudes are nothing. We talk, it's like just, it's like a person goes on talking right attitudes and himself may not have right attitudes. Attitudes are all subjective. You can be good to somebody, you can be nasty to somebody, you can like somebody, you can dislike somebody. Before marriage, you are liking the girl. After marriage, you are not liking the girl. What is it? Change of attitude. Divorces are all a clinching proof that attitudes do change. And Vedanta is not teaching any attitude. Like science is not an attitude, it is understanding of physical facts. At least, based upon science, listen to this very carefully. Based upon scientific knowledge, you can build some attitudes. Fire is hot, you can have an attitude of keeping away. That is called attitude. Keep away from the fire because it is hot. Aparavidya can result in attitudes. Aparavidya can result in attitudes. Whereas paravidya, it culminates. Inside the deep sleep state, there is no attitude. Aparavidya can culminate in attitudes. I come to know this is a carnivore and I have the attitude of keeping away. That's an attitude. Yes, I'm using my choice to be away. He is a bad man, keep away. Attitude. They are your parents, be good to them, serve them. Attitude. The knowledge that they are parents can lead to an attitude. But Brahmajnanam doesn't lead to any attitude, please. It culminates. I am telling you what is right, you have to listen to it. Otherwise, you may be thinking Brahmajnanam should change the attitude. The very study brings the right attitudes, all right, Understanding of the truth doesn't lead to any new attitude. Attitudes are all before understanding. We use right attitudes to understand the truth. Not that the understanding the truth leads to attitudes. Dhiro na dveshti. A jnani doesn't hate sansaram. He doesn't hate. Oh, that means you don't hate your problems. Then immediately we interpret it as a subjective attitude. Aisa nahi. A jnani doesn't hate sansara because he understands it is mithya. It is a wrong perception. He doesn't hate. You don't hate mirage. After waking up and knowing that it is a dream, you don't hate the dream. It is not a fact. You don't hate the dream because you know it is a dream. That's a culmination. The false and being understood as false is final, not followed by any attitude. Truth is fact is understood as understood. That is final. And it doesn't lead to any attitude. Silence. You become quiet, tranquil. Like inside the deep sleep state, you are free from the waking, so you have no attitude to the waking. You are free from the waking problems. You have no attitude towards them. And you are free from the thought, therefore you don't think any appreciation. To be is our nature. To think is an error. Dhiro na dveshti sansaram. A jnani doesn't hate sansara, means he understands that it is mithya. That is how it should be taken. Atmanam na didrikshati. Nor is he interested in objectifying his existence. Because he knows himself is the satyam. What he objectifies is mithya. He has no desire to objectify the truth because he knows it is the subject. Like the way when it understands that it is water, it is not interested in seeing water somewhere. Having understood the dream, you don't hate it because you know already that it is an error, it's a dreamt. Nor do you want to see where are you, because it is self-evident. The dream is gone, but what about me? You don't have any puzzle. Dream chale gaya, मैं कहाँ हूँ, मैं क्या हूँ? You don't, because your existence is always self-evident. That I am there. Harsha marsha vinirmukta. Harsha means anandam. Amarsha means he is free from the struggle for anandam, and he is free from being subject to amarsha. Amarsha means dukkham. Harsha means joy. Amarsha means dukkham. He is free from sukha and dukkha. It's not again an attitude place. Taking things in your stride is an attitude. It's a bravery. It's a valorness. It's a to be valiant. It's a valor. It's Veeratvam. To be a Yodha. That is called taking things in your stride. It's a kind of a attitude. It's a kind of a capacity. Seeing that there is no snake is not a capacity. It is a vision. It is a right understanding. Take the snake in your stride. That is different. Have the capacity to live with the snake is a different thing. Understanding there is no snake, a different thing. Thus Vedanta, what it says is right. But human beings' interpretation, understanding and appreciation of Vedanta is very messy. Therefore, I don't blame at all. And the Vedanta cannot adopt any simpler language because there is only one language talking about the truth from Adhyaropa Drishti and Swarupa Drishti. Harsha Marsha Vinirmuktaha Na Mritaha Na Cha Jivati is neither dead nor alive. A jnani is neither dead. That means he is not non-existent. Nor is he alive means he is free from embodiment as well as non-existence. He is free from both life and death. Life is a perception, life is embodiment, death is non-existence. That is how man thinks. Death means my non-existence. And if you follow some belief, then you feel that I am going to be there in heaven isolated from all this. Sense of isolation creates psychotic problems. Sense of distance. Because when we live with things, we develop attachment. And then when we go away, then we keep crying. Oh, then nostalgia begins. Mummy, Papa ko piche chhod diya. Then you think of memory. The near and dear ones bring tears to your eyes. This problem is there. Human beings, Jiva has very serious problems. All these serious problems are solved in the light of the truth, one's own being. There is no other way. There is no other way. Harsha marsha vinirmuktaha namritaha nacha jivati. Is free from life and death. To be is the nature of the truth. It's not life. Life is to be defined as embodiment. And death is interpreted by man as becoming non-existent. If I am the form, and when I lose the form, I lose myself. Thus, embodiment is notional and non-existence also is notional. And a person who understands the notional as notional is free from the notional and is free from both life and death. It's not an attitude, please. Take life, accept. We always, we are used to, because that's all that is possible for man. Accept things. Accept things. That is true. Understand things. We always understand also, we say, understand things so that you can accept them ultimately. Ultimately, we live by attitudes. That's called astha. What we call astha. Nothing but attitudes. Attitudes. But here, Vedanta is not asking you to accept life. Vedanta is saying that please understand life. Understand yourself. It doesn't say accept yourself as you are. Accept yourself, your parents as they are, your sisters as they are, brothers as, these are all acceptance, attitude. And it can keep changing. Because even though you accept for a day, next day, you react. You say, what is this girl doing? So today you don't fight with your sister. Tomorrow, no, she needs little fighting. ये सब होता है. Therefore, Vedanta is not teaching that you should take things in your stride, accept things, etc. It says understand things, meaning understand yourself. Okay, ji. Nisneha. Next verse, let us read. Nisneha putra dharadau Nishkamo vishayeshu cha Nischintas swasharirepi Nirasha shobhate buddha. Buddha, a wise man. A Vedanti is called a wise man, ji. That empirical wise man is different. The one who eats a little less food also is, him we call a wise man. The one who takes salad also is a wise man. A man who goes for a morning walk also is a wise man. A man who does something unusual. A disciplined man we call a wise man. A man who keeps upavasa is also called wise. Empirically wise. A man who accepts things also is called wise. He is wise. Buddha means the one who understands the problems of the world cannot be solved by the world. These problems of the jiva cannot be solved by the jiva. The problems of thinking cannot be solved by thinking. Mere thinking. I have to take into account the truth. Therefore here, Nisneha, Buddha, that is called a wise. A Vedanti is called a wise man, please. In fact, you are all wise to be studying Vedanta. You may not have a big stand in the society. You may not have a big status. You may not be a big writer. You may not be a big speaker. You may not be a big teacher. That doesn't make you non-wise. What makes you wise is that you are looking at yourself, makes you wise. Because that is the need. That is the need now and forever. The eternal need of the wave is for it to look at itself correctly. And therefore, Buddha means a Vedanti is called a wise man. Nisneha is not attached. Putra dharadau. Sneha means affection, attachment. Putra dharadau, in the children, and putra means the santanam, the children, progeny, and dhara means wife. He is not attached to his wife and children. Attached means it's not that really he is detached. It's not that. Immediately he is attached means we take it as the opposite attitude called detachment, kind of indifference. I don't care. Non-attachment is taken again as a detachment, which is an attitude. This is the problem. How can Vedanta be understood? You can never think deep about Vedanta. You can never enjoy Vedanta if you interpret Vedanta only in terms of attitudes and emotions. Attitudes and emotions. That's why this morning I was thinking how to explain to the people. They are so good to me, they are regular to the classes. I must give my best to them. Then I said, let me say, but I can't give my best to them. I can only give what is right. That is the best. I don't have something best and best and best. Tell the tradition correctly. Take it or leave it. Vedanta. A wise man is not attached to him means he understands they are also the same truth. When they have the form, they are the truth. The truth with the form. And when there is no form, they are the truth without the form. Therefore, I don't have to have affection for the truth or any attitude. Truth is, and which is my being too. Therefore, there is understanding of them correctly. Just as one understands one's being, you understand others also as the same being. In that understanding, there are no emotions and attitudes. Therefore, even Nisneha Putradaradav should be understood to mean only that he only sees them as the truth. Not that he is indifferent to them, he is detached from them, he is uninterested in them. It's not like that. He understands them. Just as a wave can understand itself to be water, the wave can also understand other waves too as water. That is called detachment. Nishkamaha, and he is free from desire. Vishayeshu cha, he is not really, he doesn't crave the objects because he is more, he is understanding the objects as an appearance in the truth. He is not thinking of their pleasant nature. He doesn't dwell on the object's pleasure-giving traits. Because the objectness itself is an ananya with the truth, is mithya. The senses are mithya. And the embodiment is mithya, and the thinking also is mithya. And the mithya is ananya with the satyam, the subject. Nischintaha swasharirepi. He is not worried about his form. Means what? He understands that he is not the form. He is not, non-worry is not again another subjective attitude. He is nischintaha. All these words will be taken as attitudes. Nischintaha, swasharirepi, nirashaha, and he is free from false hopes, because there is no need to hope for anything. The infinite doesn't have any hope. The wave, having understood that it is water, it doesn't hope for water. Is it really like that? That's how it should be thought. There is no other way of thinking, there is no other way of reflection. Shobhate Buddha. A wise man shines out. he shines out. What does it mean? Does it become popular? No. That's not called shining out. Shining out means he is so different from others. Others don't think of the truth, and he thinks of the truth. That way he shines out. Shobhit hota. Not that Shobhit hota means he becomes popular. He hits headlines. A jnani hits headlines. That is not called Shobha. To shine out means to do the right thing. When you do the right thing, you are shining out. When you do the wrong thing, you are eclipsed. When you are happy about yourself, that is shining out. When you do the right thing, you are happy about yourself, and when you know the truth, you are happy about yourself. When you are reflecting correctly, you are happy about yourself. And when you are happy about yourself, that is called shining out. Swamiji is not popularity shining out, no. Popularity is risky. Because today people put you on a pedestal, tomorrow they will dump you. If they can lift you, they can also dump you, understand? Always. Because in order to be dumped, what would you do? You have to first lift a person so that he becomes handy for dumping. Don't try to be lifted by others. That's not Veda. Vedanta doesn't say that. Okay, we will continue. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.